Hi, this is Wing from CityLux. Today we're gonna be helping you guys to choose a daily planner that's most suitable for you. Alright, so I think before we begin, we need to know that actually now there are plenty of notebook choices available out there. There are too many brands to mention and so-called non-branded ones as well. But what we want to be able to do is find something that's best for you, because everybody's different, which is why there's so many notebooks out there as well that's available for your daily journaling purposes. Alright, so firstly, I think maybe you want to ask yourself, what are you going to use that notebook for? Are you going to use it for mostly planning, just writing the tasks to do and not much reflection, just putting in your tasks, your appointments? Or is it going to be something that's for you to record your daily life, something that's happened, something for reflection? Or maybe you're somebody who says, okay, I don't want to separate them, I just want one book for everything. Alright, so that's first question you gotta ask yourself. Next as well, you gotta know what kind of person you are when it comes down to using the materials or writing tools that you're going to be using. Are you just a fountain pen user only? Are you someone who uses mostly ballpoint pens or just a gel ink only? Or you're somebody who uses a mix of everything, plus I need to use my brush markers as well to decorate, right? So I think that's quite important. Because the notebooks, there are so many, I'm just going to round down a few so that we can make it easier for you to understand as well in this video how you can choose some notebook for your daily journaling. First, you want to decide whether you want to use one of these which are predated. What we are all used to using is maybe the traditional planner. Alright, so I've got some planners right here. This one's for 2022. Alright, the books have just arrived. Alright. And what I mean by traditional 2022 planner is maybe there are already dates printed on the inside that states maybe which day of the month it falls on which date, and those are pre-printed. And so if you have something older like this one's for 2020, after it expires you can't use it anymore, right? Because these are all predated. Okay, so these are some of the traditional formats you can see. Of course, you can write some stuff every day, but you can see once it's passed, you can't use it anymore. Of course, this one's in 2020, so you can't use it anymore. I think this is what traditionally we have been used to using. This one's pretty good layout from Leuchtturm, so there's project planning as well. Okay, so if you like to do a lot of planning, a lot of tasks to be laid out beforehand, then this might be what you're still looking for, right? Of course, there are formats that still has just the whole week on one page and then notes on the other side. And then, of course, for a daily use, you can also look at some of this. This one's from Midori as well. This is from MD Paper. So you can see the layout. You can always see what's typical over there is your year ahead, all right? So they are all laid out so that you know exactly, like you want to check, oh, 6th of June is on which day this year or next year. This is up to 2023 as well. So that's quite common, this coming year and then the one next year. And then their format is slightly different, so they show the month over 2 pages. Now we go into the more free and easy ones. So I think the free and easy ones especially has been popular for this 5 years or so with the onset of the bullet journaling. Alright, so the trend of bullet journaling is talking about books. You can use any notebook that's blank on the inside, whether it has lines, grids or dots, which is the most popular for the bullet journal. It allows you to write anything, date whenever you want to, and then it allows you a lot of more creativity, right? So you're not fixed to a certain printed format, and up to you whether you want to write your dates of the month vertically down, horizontally, or just stick a sticker as well, so or use a rubber stamp. So this gives you a lot more flexibility. So first you decide, okay, I want to have mostly organized, pre-organized for me and pre-printed, or I prefer to have it free and easy. I'm going to put it in on my own and I'm going to draw in. I don't mind, or I enjoy spending the time setting up a monthly theme, a monthly layout and drawing it out. Then at least you're clear then which format you should go for. Alright, then once you go into that, you can at least decide which section of the notebooks that you should be looking for. So if you've decided, okay, I'm gonna look at maybe more free and easy, I want to do more bullet journaling or journaling, daily journaling for daily reflection rather than for full planning with a lot of grids done out for me, then there are some things that you could look out for then. I also want to be able to put in my stickers, my photographs, and draw in some quotes and stuff like that. Then you might want to think, okay, then what kind of paper should I get? Alright, so I think that's when you really need to try out the different papers. I think that's why you can also, not every store allows you to try out papers. You can, whatever you carry in CityDocs, you can come to our workroom and try it out as well. You can read all our reviews or watch our videos on the different papers available. You got to look at the thickness of the paper, because thickness of paper affects the overall size and weight. What kind of materials can go on it, because some of these papers don't take, maybe for example, your brush very well, brush pen very well. So for example, like the original 80 GSM paper for Leuchtturm is perfect for your fountain pens, your ballpoint pens, gel ink, but not all types of brush pen would work well. Some would actually bleed through or actually have some feathering and ghosting onto the pages, which is why they created the 120 GSM version. So then that's when you decide, oh, there's two A5 versions, which should I try? 80 GSM or 120 GSM, right? So it depends on your needs. You can select a different one. Of course, there are some thickness differences you can see over here. Okay, slightly thicker, and of course it will be heavier as well. And for the same probably size and weight, there are actually less pages, right? So this has 251 pages. Because it's 120 GSM, this is 203 pages only. Alright, so those are some things that you want to take note of. Okay, so thickness of paper aside, formats of the paper. Alright, so just one brand alone within Leuchtturm, I think or rather most brands would have several formats for their notebooks, alright, for even just a particular size. So within the A5 size, the most popular within Asia as well will be blanks, ruled, and then the dotted right now, right? Grids are available, but maybe not as popular over here in Singapore. I'm going to just show you over here, like for example, this is from Leuchtturm. This is actually their ruled version, or you can say it's with lines, all right? So you can see the format on the inside. I think what you want to take note of is the lines inside. For every single brand, the lines spacing might be different, all right? So it might be 5 mm, 6 mm, 7 mm. I think I've seen up to even full 1 cm before, but that's less common. Okay, so you're gonna look out for lines, and also what you want to take note of is the thickness of each line. Okay, so some of the companies out there, when they print the lines tend to be too thick, then it becomes a bit distracting. I like the lines here on the Leuchtturm one, so it's still thin enough, alright, to be not overly distracting even though you want to have lines on them. So for some users, lines are good because they write a lot and they need to be guided on the lines. Some might find, oh, but that's a bit restrictive when I want to draw as well. Okay, so the other extreme would be the blank. Alright, you do a lot of drawing, pasting, and you like free and easy, then you want it to be totally blank. Alright, the Leuchtturm one still comes with the content page. Alright, but the good thing is what they've included is this. Alright, so they've included a line and a grid guide. So if you compare with their actual printed lines, you'll see it's quite different. Okay, so this guide is much wider. This is quite close to the 1 cm that I'm talking about. But the good thing about using this with blank is that, let me show you. You just put it behind the page you can see the lines quite clearly. And then if you are doing some serious drawing, then you need some guide over here as well for the grids. You can see that as well. But other than that, you can just take it off and then draw quite freely. So that's the good thing about a blank page. What's very popular now is of course the dotted version. Alright, so now that's been popularized around the world. Other than the content page, you can see for yourself as well the dots. Alright, you might want to compare between the different brands. So some of them, the dots are, I've seen some brand that the dot is exceptionally thick. I find it a bit distracting, so I don't really like those. I think these are pretty nice, so you can see the dots quite clearly, but it's faint enough for it to so-called like disappear into the background if you are not really focusing on it. Alright, it's not so restrictive, but yeah, it helps as a guide for you to do your drawings, whether is it squares, lines or circles. And it's a good guide for you also when you're doing some sticking, whether it's washi tapes or some stickers or rubber stamping. Is a good guide as well. Yeah, so I think I like the dotted format, which a lot of people do. I think you can also want to compare when I mentioned every company does the dots slightly differently. So this one's from MD paper from Midori. Midori means green in Japanese, so they chose green dots. So you can do a comparison as well. And then over here you can see as well, because this codex was meant to be a daily journal, they've done some very small details. You can see over here, two dots are actually darker. So this is for you to put down your dating, so your day, month, year you can actually include as well. So these are some small details you can look at. Decide on which is the format that you want, then you can round down some more within a certain brand for the formats. Then after that, you'll look at also each notebook, what are the special features it might have, right? So just now, like I mentioned, the Leuchtturm one has a content page. Is that important to you, for you to index what's in the pages? Or maybe you think, not so important for me, that's good to have, not so important. So this one's like for you to make sure in case it gets lost, you can write down your personal address and details. Then you might want to look out, oh, I need to have some back pocket because I'm going to use it every day. I'm carrying it with me, so I need to put my receipts, my stickers, my washi tape boards inside. Yeah, so you're gonna have the pocket. Then if you want to look at the pocket, then make sure that they are well made. This one's reinforced by fabric, so some of those with very paper ones with open close, it will just tear off easily. So this is quite well made, pretty sturdy. Special features from Leuchtturm, of course, they added some stickers for you to do archiving. Then you also want to look at maybe page markers. Alright, so the Leuchtturm ones come with typically 2 page markers, and you can see they've made it differently, so but it's a bit matching. Alright, so this one's a more yellow color, so yellow orange, right, with the gray, so you can have book markers. So for the MD one, it doesn't come with any book markers. Alright, so because why, they sell all these cute ones separately, and you can choose what you want to have as your book marker, so you can just stick it here. So these are for coffee lovers. You can choose lots of different themes. They have a world, they have cats, dogs, all kinds of stuff. So you might think this just color is a bit boring, then you can choose one of these instead, and you can stick multiple ones, of course. Yep, you can see over here as well, this one, then it's got no back pocket. Okay, so behind is just for you to write maybe your address and signature, or something to sign off on your own. Alright, so take a look at all the different features that's available on the inside. Okay, then what you might also notice here for the MD paper is a bit unique as well. So these are the ones they actually allow you to peel off the edge when you finish that page. So instead of having this kind of ribbon-based book marker, some people don't like that. That's why they included this tear-off version. It's also a bookmarker so that you go straight to the next page immediately once you open up the book, because you should be tearing off day by day. If you're going to be carrying around with you, you want something that's manageable size, so you don't want it to be too thick either, right? So some of us might find it difficult or too heavy to carry around a big book. Then you want something simple and small that you can carry around. Like I mentioned, this one's very nice. You can fit you every day, but it's too thick. Alright, then the bullet journal, the new bullet journal 2.0 is a little bit thicker because it's 120 GSM, but I think you can still manage to handle this. Alright, there's this kind of all A5 size formats. Alright, and if all these are too heavy, you can go for smaller sizes. Alright, the smaller sizes, then you have your more A6 sizes. Alright, and your B5 or B6 slim sizes. Right, so these are the sizes that you can consider. Then over here you can see this is a traveler's notebook, so this is also quite a unique size. It's more like a B6 slim, but so it's longer as well. It was created mostly for you to put in air tickets previously, so you can fit in quite a lot of things. So this is quite a handy format as well that you can carry around everywhere you go. So after you decided, okay, I'm gonna weigh it up, I'm gonna check it out, how heavy is it, practical for me to carry this around, and then you decide, okay, fine, I decided maybe I'm okay with an A5 size notebook, whether is it this kind or this A5 size. This is good enough, I can still carry this around, I'm quite happy. I don't want an A6 because it's too small, I can't write enough stuff. Then okay, fix on the size. Alright, so common sizes, A6, A5 sizes, alright, and something in between. We will move on to the next feature. Okay, I'm going to talk about something else next. What you're going to be using it for or with. What's your primary writing tool? Alright, is it a fountain pen? Or a ballpoint pen? Or a mixture plus some brush markers as well? So I think ballpoint is the easiest because it's oil-based. So it should work well on most types of paper, and so that you don't really have to worry about bleeding through. Alright, it's just whether it's thick enough, smooth enough for you to write on. So that's really up to you. Come and test each of the papers. So some papers has this waxed feel, some don't have a waxed feel on it. It's depending on your own preference as well. Yeah, stick to what you like, okay? And then maybe you also want to look at the kind of color of the paper. So you can see as well, there's bright white paper. This is what I mean by bright white paper. Okay, so this is very copier paper, right? It's really bright white, okay? And some people like this because if you are doing a lot of coloring, it shows maybe high contrast or closer to the original paint color because it's on base white. But on daily writing, I prefer cream, alright, or off-white paper because it's a bit more soothing and you're looking at it. So even the cream color, there's a difference, right? So you can see for yourself, these are both cream colored, but one is darker than the other, alright? So also comment below, let me know what kind of paper you like better. You like cream or you like bright white paper? We were going to look at probably whether you want the book to be having an enclosure. Alright, so there are many notebooks out there with an elastic enclosure. Alright, so this just to keep things together and doesn't fall out, especially if you're somebody who like to slip a lot of flyers, notes and stuff like that in between and tickets. You might want to make sure it's clipped. Alright, some of you might want to have the fancy ones with little lockets and stuff like that in between. Yeah, so those are the cutie ones. Alright, so since I have to use my notebook for work as well, I prefer one of these with a simple enclosure or without enclosure as well. So I think some notebooks don't really need enclosure so much, but unless you are squeezing it a lot into some bag that has got a lot of other stuff, then you might want to have some enclosure. If not, this is fine. I think if you leave it on the desk as well, this should be fine. Other than it closing nicely, it should be something that opens up nicely as well. So in notebooks, for writing pleasure, we prefer notebooks that opens flat. To me, this is pretty important. I've used notebooks where it doesn't really open flat, so there's always an angle or it flips to the side. So that's a bit annoying to write with. Okay, so maybe something that will be close to what I'm talking about would be the traveler's notebook. Okay, because it's meant to go through a lot of hardship when you travel. So this is like it'll go through thick and thin with you for many years. Okay, and so this leather bound, you can see it doesn't really fold flat. Okay, so when you open this up, it doesn't fold flat. Okay, the notebooks don't really fold flat very well. And this is what I mean. So every time when you're writing, you have to fold it down. If not, it will flip, right? So that's why they also created their own clips to keep it open. That's a disadvantage of the TN, but yet actually the TN has got a lot of other advantages. Why? When we talked about features earlier, we talked about just back pockets and stuff like that. Traveler's notebook is fully configurable, alright? So that gives it way more flexibility than any of this. Okay, because these are already fixed and bound. Once you use it up, you will store it one side and then you cannot use back the same cover, even though you might think the cover you have kept it in perfectly good condition. Unlike the TN, you just need one-time investment in the starter kit, which is this cover and one page. The insides are flexible, right? Because these are all removable. You can keep swapping out. They have their own yearly plan, monthly plans, and blanks. So for example, if you are somebody like, I can't really decide what I want to do, whether I'm going to use it for just planning my task or writing and journaling with a lot of stickers and stuff like that, I think TN is a good choice as well because it has one of these that many people request for. It has a monthly planner. So all your important days and anniversaries are all included first. And then you have also got the week over 2 pages. Over here you can see. So this is like a vertical format with your timings as well. So you can really plan right down to the last hour. And of course it includes all the dates as well and the whole year, and very special is of course it talks about which month you are. So on every page you can see the month. Alright, so you can really plan quite nicely. And then behind that, when you stack it together, you can add in the blank pages, alright, for you to add your creativity. That's where you can do this. And then you can still add some grid paper, and then you can also add dotted paper. So you can just stack it up and keep adding in all the refills. And I'm not even showing you, you can also add in a zipper for you to slot in your notes, your money, your cards, and your Instax photographs as well. So that gives you full flexibility in one journal, and it can be really thick or it can be pretty thin, and you can always pull out only the part that you want to go and draw as well. So I think that's why everybody loves one of these TN. So features wise, I think one of this definitely gives you maximum flexibility. This is what most of us need, some simple pocket, and then some of this really basic to keep it really simple as well. This is also what's available. So really it comes down to your own personal needs, then you can start using and try them out as well. I think some of us sometimes need to cycle through different notebooks. I have probably tried several formats myself. Of course, when I was younger, there were probably not so many formats, and bullet journaling was not even a way to do journaling yet. So we all stuck to the full planners or some notebooks, and then we kept them separate. So with a bullet journaling idea now, you can actually put everything into one notebook, plan, organize your tasks, right, and still write your reflections in one single notebook. Or you can have the flexibility to do this, which is heavy planning plus a notebook version, a blank notebook version behind for you to actually do your daily journaling. Alright, so I think now the choices are way more, and I think the colors are like crazy. So it's crazy fun because you see there's all kinds of shades, just blue alone. Alright, so Leuchtturm alone has got 20 over colors, and then you can, the Zen person, keep it simple. I want to draw and decorate and make it really personalized on my own. That's also possible as well. So I hope I've actually helped you round down and given you more ideas, or rather give you certain guidelines so that you can choose your notebooks in an easier way. Alright, so do give me more comments below, and if there's any notebook that you've seen that we haven't had a chance to talk about today, maybe you guys can write in the comments below as well so that we have a chance to go and review them. Alright, so I hope in this session I have helped you clarify some doubts and given you a better idea of how to choose a notebook for your daily journaling. So as always, live simply and write daily. I'll see you again.